Test, 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 test. Is this working? Quickly double check. Hmm. Is this working? I don't know. I think it is. Is it? I think it is. Yeah, it looks like it's working. Okay. Cool, cool. Okay, so let's just try to finish off what we started last time. Hopefully with, you know, trying to spend less less time than previously. Um, we stopped at actually trying to set up an availability section for the service providers. So just try to add some simple logic for, adding your own availabilities, and then we can see how we can move from there. Okay. First of all, I'd like to just quickly get rid of this because this home component card is kind of useless. Okay, so we'll just get rid of this. And I believe we call it here, so we can just have the code here, and we'll be calling the card component here. Okay. This is already running, so if we go to Chrome, localhost. Okay, so we have a problem. The image is not loading. It is. We are signed in. Let me quickly try to switch. Let's use yeah, this one. Let's use the next, I believe this is it. Let's use the next image tag instead. And at the same time, when we use the next image, we have to specify a width and a height. So let's for instance, yeah, sure, 32, height 32, invite, yes. So when you use a certain image or an external image in your next app, especially when using the image tag, you typically have to specify that domain in the next config file. So we can do something like this, domains. Obviously, we're not using AppStash, we're using this. Okay. Restarting the server. Okay. Refresh. Okay, that seems I fixed it. Hmm. Let's do something a bit blah. I think I'd rather have something like this. Hmm. Or I can try to drag some UI avatar uh, generator. Yes, with initials. That's perfect. So let's say I take this, I'll grab it here. Yeah, I have to specify that as well. Okay. So let's specify that. Next config. Okay. I should turn off and turn on the texting stuff. Picked itself up. Mm, not sure why it still does that. Because so waiting for a session. There's a session. Reload it. Otherwise, I want to display this instead. Let me quickly double check if this actually works. Interesting. It's a weird behavior. Open using menu. Profile picture. That should Yeah, sure. I mean that's kind of it, but session, new session. Okay. How about we do something along the lines of, does this actually not work? Yeah, it does. UI avatar initials. Yeah, that's what we want. That's exactly what we want. Hmm. Let's try this one as well. I don't see how different this is from. Yeah, it seems to work, so we'll take it. What does this say? AIavatars.com. I mean, you did specify it, no? AIavatars.com. It's confused. Okay, so now it works. But let's do session dot data dot user dot image that exists will display it. Otherwise, well, we can just do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, what if the image does not exist? In that case, we could probably try to have our name instead. Our name initials, that could work. And we do session data username. Yeah. Well, I don't really care about having colors, so we just get rid of that. And that as well. And I should probably fix it. What else is there? If someone still complains about that. User. Would it still complain? UI avatars invalid source prop is not configured. We can just have this dangerously allowed. Next config. Set that to true. See if that fixes it. Refresh. Undefined. Yeah, sure. We can keep that for now, but ideally you would not be seeing this in the first place. The only reason why I keep having it here is because I have a drop-down menu. So ideally, if you're not logged in, you're not going to be even seeing this in the first place. What you'll be seeing instead is probably a sign-in button or something. So you can probably just do a quick fix for that later. But for now, we want to go to our availabilities. Let's try to have something uniform in terms of the look. So dashboard availabilities. Now, if you go for dashboard, which is the index, I believe. Yes. So if we go for something like this in the availabilities file, right? We should more or less have the same style applied here, except this time this is going to be availabilities. Could not find. Yeah, let's just quickly restart this. Okay. Availabilities, so dashboard availabilities. Get rid of some of these. And what we probably can do is have like some button that says add availability, and probably like an add icon. Is there like an icon here? Like plus icon, like a plus icon, and see if we can get away with this. Like so. Last name, let's do h4, and the width to be 4 as well. Okay. Class name, let's do flex, or inline flex. How about, okay, so if you do inline here, and inline here, and inline here, okay, but I don't think we require an inline because the span is by default set to be inline, yes. But we can do font, SM. Is it text SM or font SM? I think it's text. Small, right? Can the margin left to be 4, and maybe we can make this a bit smaller. Font medium. Track and tight. Light. Yeah, I don't really like the way this looks, but we can go for it. Okay, so once you click on that, let's add an on-click handler. Okay. Sure. And I'd rather test this out on here. So if you go to availabilities, inspect console, right? If we click this, we have clicked, so it shows it on the screen. Maybe we can play better with the way the cursor looks, so we can change the cursor look here. So we can do cursor pointer, so that no, wait, add availability. Oh, sorry, wrong. Cursor pointer. Now it shows us. Okay. You could probably just say button, and we can. Yeah, that kind of works too. So if you do a button, we don't really have to specify the cursor, as a button by default is clickable, so that could work. And ideally, once this is clicked, I would like to see some sort of a model. So if you look at a model in Tailwind UI, so I would like to see something like this pop up. Yeah. So React code, and ideally that would contain perhaps maybe the details for my availability. Yes. So what we can do is we can have a separate component, availability model, right? Availability model, and we can probably pass the state from here. So let me go back. I don't like the fact that I'm using two separate browsers for this. Yes, okay. Yeah, I previously checked the model in Tailwind UI just to save some time. Availabilities. Now, if I do this, ideally I should transfer like some sort of a prop to to the component. So the way I'd be doing it is I'll take the model and do this. right? Um, I'll do something like uh, is open. Oops, is open onto the boolean, and we'll do is open here, and we'll do by default I want it to be false. So is this false? It's a boolean, and by default it's going to be false. So I'll probably have to stick it somewhere here first, so we can do it here. Okay. Okay, it's there, and is open to be set to true. Okay, perfect. Now it is set to true because that's what we have here by default. Perfect. And I can have maybe a state here. Should we use a state? And you could use a state. Const is open, set is open, use state, false by default. But once I click on the add availability, I'd like to have set is open to be true. So refresh. Oh, okay. So by default it's false. If I click, become true. Toc, toc. I click. Set is open to be true. And this would be is open. Well, how come? Okay, wait, 1 second. So it is true. Why is it not opening? Okay, let me double check something real quick. So if I go here, let's get rid of that. And this would be this. That's interesting. Not sure why it's not updating. I guess this is something that we're gonna cut from the live stream as well. So I'm missing something. So if I do true and refresh, it does open. Use states. Open is true. Uh, I mean, it does actually change the state, but no, obviously not. Yeah, I don't expect this to work, obviously. But that's. I'm not sure why this is. This is the point where we ask ChatGPT directly, so that should be fun. Availability model is not opening when the button is pressed. On click. So we have the on click method here. It does set it to true, right? And then we pass it to the availability model, and the availability model would basically just switch based on this. Is it? Is it? Okay. Is it? I just want to double check that I'm not messing up some. The transition is used, but it is missing a show true false button. Okay. Okay. I think I have an idea why this is happening. Is it open? Okay. Visible. 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 Even if it's visible, it's based on this. Visible. Okay. And this visibility, we don't care about this anymore. But the visibility is specified by this. Is it open? Right? No, it's visible, sorry. It's visible. So visible points to is it open? Now it does say true. And if I go here and do console.log visible, it's not. Uh, it's open. It is switching. I'm confused. You know what we'll do is we'll mix the two. Feels like a much safer way of doing this. So yeah, move to trash. Uh, this will be like so. Then wait, gonna rush things out a bit. I delete something that I did not add. I shouldn't have deleted. So we'll do this. This is needed here, right? And I need to use ref method. I don't need the visible, so false. I don't need this either. Okay. And set open to be true. And this will become the actual code. And that should basically fix everything. Yeah, should fix my dialog icon. Again, fragment, transition, child. And technically this should work, yeah. As dumb as this looks. Okay. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Yeah, I'm sure I think it has to do with it not being mounted. That's why it wasn't really reacting to the changes in the prop, but I'm really not that sure. Maybe we should pass the entire state, not just the prop. I'm not sure about that. But okay. So that works. I believe that. So what we have here is we have exclamation triangle. So most of this content we don't really care about it that much. And this is simply just a yeah. So we'll keep this button. We'll keep this button to be fair. But not only would this usually take care of closing this down, but it would also take care of submitting something. So ideally we'd do something like handle submit, right? And that will be something here. Handle submit. Sure. I don't really think I need all of that, but we can do this for now. And okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. So what I want to do is I want to add basically some availabilities, and the way to go is to actually go back to our Prisma Studio and check what the availabilities look like. Yeah, or I can just check from the Prisma schema. Yeah. So availability. So we have a start date and end date, and a provider, which is basically me, the user. Sounds good. So what we can do is probably, what is this? Ah, these are sessions, okay. So what we can do is look at some form options. Again, using Tailwind. What do we have here? We have some forms. Okay, we have a form layout, we have input groups. So it looks fine, I guess. Select menus. Yeah, we do not really care about that. But input groups, form layouts. This looks a bit excessive. So it requires forms, but I mostly care about getting, just one small uh, just for inputting dates basically. Is that for options? That actually could be useful in terms of if we were to set like a class definition. I mean a course definition. So if you go for availabilities, yes, and I want to do, for instance, let me go back here. Wait. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we'll do add availability, right? And I think it's not. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. I think I should get rid of this. Why is it restricting itself to only the limit of double check where I actually put this. Mm-hmm. I don't expect this to work obviously, but so I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need the country. I would ideally say something like from, right? And this would basically be Um, I'm not going to do any auto completion. Actually, this could work for courses. Yeah, yeah, course. Course name, if somehow this ends up being something relevant. And this is something that we can fill dynamically later on, but since we don't have any data, we can just put some stuff here. Database systems, introduction to computers. Okay, so this would be the course, and we can have some other stuff here. So can I do something like color span full? Yes, I can. And does that work? Kind of. Not really. Should probably work on my layout. Yes. hmm So space. How does this even look? So I'll take this part. So the personal information part. So personal information. Yeah. So I'll take this part. Right. I'll get rid of the stuff that I don't need. Cool. Okay. So title. This. This. And then massive. Yeah. Very. But can just grab this. Good. And street address. You can you can have it sit here. Perfect. I think I'm supposed to get rid of one more. No? So this works. Or if I get rid of one of those and one of those, that should still work. Okay, perfect. These are the courses. Country, I don't really care about the country. First name, last name. That first name, last name, you can have it from two. So first name would be from, and last name would be two. This would be from, and this would be two. I think this we can say date time. Um, that works. And this would be time as well. That also works. We don't care about the email address, so we get rid of that. We don't care about the country, so we get rid of that. And we also don't care about the other stuff. So we don't care about the city, we don't care about the states, we don't care about any of this. And this as well. Cool, okay. What is this complaining about? Yeah, we'll look at that later. Personal information, where is this personal information coming from? I don't like the fact that I have a very big margin here. Instead, I'll add a margin here. So margin will do something like 4. I mean margin top will be something like 4 or 8. What is the activate account? Add availability as, let's do H2. Does that recognize as H2? Text large. Sure. I guess that could work. Median. Actually, I don't think we need this, and we can do add session information. Add availability information, right? Below. Add relevant information regarding your availability below. And we'll do something like margin down 4, and that should work. Should probably add a date as well. Yeah, so date time. Yeah, so I should probably do something like date time, not date. Did that fix it? Date. No, date. Okay, so that could probably fix it. Date time local. So obviously this could be much better in terms of how you'd like the formatting to be, etc. But I think for the sake of having something that just works, I think this is fine. Yes. I think I'd like to add some padding as well. So for both. Would I though? No, it doesn't really work. Sure, let's keep it that way. Blue? Okay. And then instead of deactivate, we'd like to add. I also like to make it blue. Something happened that it didn't like. Okay, now it works. Okay, so basically what I want to do is I want to add an availability today from 8 to 11. Okay, right? And I would like to add it. So obviously once I press that, it would try to add something. That sounds easy enough. Instead, what I would like to do is introduce React hook form, and the way we can do that is React hook form. So we can quickly have something proper. I mean, you don't really have to, but I should we work on it? Should we work on it? We'd have an input. So where's the data? So register and submit, right? And once you submit, you handle the submitted data. You set the data to be a JSON string. You can probably try that real quick, right? Yeah, let's try to do this. So input, So the input would take. Oh, I have to install it first. I haven't installed it. Okay, get started. That looks easy enough. Let's just add it here. Okay, it looks good. Now if you do input, so they're saying register. So if I do, yeah, this one actually looks good. So if you go here and use form, sorry, React hook form, so that works. I think that should work. And then this is handle submit. Cannot really tell open scope, so we'll just do this. Does that work? I think that works. We'll get rid of that. And the registering, so for each, basically each input would take its own register. Yeah, so exactly. So we do from here, and we do something else like here as well, and for course as well. So we select course, and we can have a state for data, so we can, I guess, look at how the data looks like. And form, so they're wrapping this with a form. I haven't done that actually. Yeah, I haven't done that. So they have a dialog panel, add availability, and you have a label. So I guess we can start from whichever point. So we can do like form here, form, right? And the form would end right here, I believe so. And on submit, then you would set the data state to the JSON equivalent of the data that we submitted. I think that should be good, right? Okay, so I was thinking about having Zod included, but it looks like the fact that we can have required uh, some rows here required, what is required, what is optional, etc. I think it's good. So so if you do something like, yeah, exactly. I want to make sure that the person actually specifies these and not just tries to submit without specifying these kinds of fields. The course as well, I'm kind of hesitant about having the course information included as well because I don't think that's actually part of our table. Well, we'll just do that regardless, it's fine. We have a syntax error. Where is the syntax error? Uh, how? In IMTA. We've been having some. Okay, I think it's here. Right. Select. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I shouldn't close this. I should close it here. Is that what's going on? Yeah, I think so. So I think that looks good. That doesn't. Okay, perfect. I think that should work. Yeah. Now if I do this, add availability. Yeah, we'll fix that later. It's not gonna do anything. If we specify add. Okay, actually don't say anything here. So probably add like a use effect to. No. I would just like to console.log the data, and this means that this would rerun every time the content of this state is changed. So everything here would be executed again. So if you do this, add availability, boom, 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 right, does not print anything, which means, what does that mean? What does that mean? Let me just quickly change the wrapping of the form instance. Okay, that fixes the problem with the oh. This should be part of the form. Yeah. So we include these two in the form as well. So they should be here, I believe. And I think it should reference the Smithsonian. So on submit, so form on submit, but the button, yeah, should type submit. I think that's it. Then I could just get rid of that. Oh wait, no. This should be submit. But then I don't really need this. I think that's how it's supposed to work. Perfect. So we have from that to that, and course would be introduction to computers. And I think that's exactly how it should be. I just noticed that I have a weird shade here, but it's fine. Did I have it earlier? Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I really don't mind enjoying this mess when it comes to styling. So we have a button here, the button here, and we have the div. What if I just include this to the form as well? Uh, yeah, whatever. I don't expect this to work, to be honest. I mean, it's not, so. Oh, wait. I should include this. Yeah, why is it restricting itself to the, hmm. You know, the best I could do for now is just, I don't want to spend too much time on that, so, yeah. And why do we have, why is there so much gap here? Where is the gap coming from? The gap is coming from this. It's specifying that the PB is 12. That's not something I want to specify. Okay. And to be fair, I also want the buttons to not be restricted, which I think is something that we can do, to be fair. Maybe if I try to drag these two, like so, that work. Doesn't seem like it, but it's fine. I can just pretend that this is not a thing. Okay. So if you go to console, cancel, you go to availability, you have an availability here, you have an availability here, and you can just, obviously you have no rules set for if there's a minimum, you know, there's a minimum or maximum time. Obviously I'm not checking if this too is less than from, etc. So I guess that's some logic that you can add later on. But okay. Now what we want to do is um, I think I would like to match the it doesn't really matter, I don't really have to, but it's fine. So what we'll do now is set up a route that actually adds this data. So we'll go to our backend. Where's our backend? So server example. Usually I should have an example folder somewhere. Yes. So this is the one. Okay. Now what I'll be doing is I'm gonna add a new one. I'm gonna add availability.ts. Just basically just copy the exact same thing here. But this would be availability router. We can have something called get all, so it would basically get all the availabilities. Let's do get one for getting one availability, and it's to add one, so it would be add availability. Okay, and this would be a protected procedure. For now, we can keep these to be public. This is irrelevant for me now, so I'm not gonna care about the functionality of that. So add one availability. So it's not gonna be a query, it's gonna be an input. So before querying it, we should be expecting an input, and that input is basically gonna be an object that contains my availability information. That's true. How about we don't specify that, we just say objects. Obviously, it's not gonna enjoy that. Yeah, the shape. Okay, so we can revisit that. But so we have an object. Yeah, for now, I guess we can just say let me check. Let me check a previous implementation to see how that was how we achieved that. Just so we can try to do it properly. So we want input. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. So the way we actually do it is by yeah. So one way, if we wanna do it properly, we can use Zod in the front end to validate the actual shape of our data. I wonder if I can use the same thing, but for from the database. So it would be something like availability, but from Prisma. Uh, so that this and this availability pages. Hmm. We should probably try to use sod here. Otherwise, we can hard code it. As much as I really don't like that. So basically, it would be something like this, but we'll basically do from to and it would also be a string, and we'll do something like it's not date, it's course, and the course would also be a string. Or is it not like about this? Oh, it should be yeah, it should be z dot objects, and then wrap this like so. Yeah, so that's more like it. Okay, I actually also need to add the I think it's provider. Is it provider? Uh, yeah, the provider. So the provider would be user ID, so it would be this. Okay, so the provider would be another string, and this is a protected procedure, so by default it actually checks if I am the right person. who's logged into the context, right? And once that's done, I can query, or in fact, I can mutate, not query, because mutation means doing some, mutating the data. So exactly, I'm getting back my input and I'm getting back the context, and the context would essentially give me access to my data. And exactly this is it. So return context.prisma availability create data from to course and the provider. Except that this time this is not going to be an input. This is going to be, I think I also missed a yeah. This is going to be a context dot session dot user, and this should be ID exactly. Is this complaining about? Or is this complaining about? The string has no properties in common with provider. Create nested one without if what? What is this? Expected type comes from property provider, which is declared here on type. Yeah. Actually, I think it's provider ID. And this should be yes. Oh yes. Okay. My bad. This should be start date. This should be end date. And this typically does not actually exist because we don't have a course in our database. So there's a bunch of ways how we can solve this. Either we we can get rid of this, but I don't think that's fair. The way we can do it is obviously we can add a course here and say, okay, oh, this is of type course, whatever, yes. But in this case, we should not be adding the course string. We should be adding the course ID. And since I don't actually have that, because again, I don't have any course data in my model, so I can't really know which ID corresponds to which class. I can't really do that myself. So what I'm gonna do is just to keep this sound, I'm not gonna include the course. I'm just gonna do this. So once that's done, I should return that. Is there anything else I should be doing? Not really. Not really. Maybe this. Okay. So I think that's good. That's good from my case. Okay. And the other thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get all the availabilities that match. So we're not gonna have any input, basically that match the user. So what we'll do is, do I need the context from here or not? Yeah, I can get it from here, so that's fine. So if I do this, I would return find menu, but only such that, yeah, I would include the provider, but I don't. I think find menu where I should add a where clause here. Yeah, where exactly? Is this fine? Possibly no. Why would that be the case? Because it's a public procedure, so this should be a protected procedure so that I can ensure that I am logged in, which means the context exists, which means I can get all the availabilities such that the provider matches my user, which is myself. That's perfect. I don't really care about this, so I'm not going to even show it in the first place. That looks good. Now, what I'll be doing is, let me go back to the availabilities page. And what I'll do is I'll do two things. Basically, first of all, I'm gonna try to get the data for Availability is exactly that's what I want, but this should be API dot, yeah, it's not, I haven't exported it, that's why. So availability is this, and get rid of this, export, so export count availability router, and I have to go to root and do availability, availability router. Now if I go here, I should be able to see it here. Availability, get all availabilities. So this is loading, error, etc. Okay, perfect. Now I don't want this anymore. What I want is, let's quickly first do a check to see if we're getting the data properly. Availabilities. No wait. JSON dot stringify availabilities. Okay, so clearly I have no availabilities now, and I'll get rid of this card because it's irrelevant. Now let me try to add an availability. So if I do one, whatever, let's just do something. Yikes, which is probably, well, that's something that we can work on work on it later. Same thing here. So one, right, object database systems add. So if I add it, technically it should, no, it's not gonna be added yet because I haven't coded the mutation part. So where's handle submit? So handle submit is, oops, where's handle submit? Handle submit data, and what I'll be doing is, yeah, I need the mutate. So const mutate, yeah, that's exactly what I need. So add one, use mutation, and I'll do add availability. And the add availability would, I think, should take something. Uh, yeah. So what we'll do is add availability, which should contain the data, and the data will not match because, yeah. So it should be like so, I think. Yeah. So it should be from data from to, no, not course. Should be course data dot course, and then there's no provider to be involved, to be included. So from to provider, but yeah, I think I should we add the provider? The provider. Ah, we don't actually use the provider. Yeah, so we don't need it because the provider is being received from the context. Yeah, that looks good. And submit. That actually does that. And then there's actually more to it than you think, because actually let's just try that first and then we can exemplify it. So let's do, right, and then sure, add, let's do something, add provider is missing. Okay, argument provider is missing. So availability, create, And what is the provider? The provider is. Hmm. Hmm. So what is the provider? So should it be provider ID or should it be provider? Okay, this is kind of confused. So what is I don't think that does it actually. Yeah, okay, provider is missing. Did I think let me again check evaluation. I'm looking at another project implementation to see how I handled that. So evaluation, which is here it's waiting. Waiting concerns to user here. And then it's a user ID. Oh, I think yeah, this should be provider like such, like that. So that it recognizes that this is actually a reference to the table, not a regular, not a regular. So that this should be the case as well here. So it's not a regular column. It's actually something that references a table. So if I do npx prisma generate, hmm, npx prisma db push. Hopefully it doesn't complain. Is already in sync. Is it though? Hmm. Okay, let's keep it that way and see if that fixes it. Availability. Doc. Provider is missing. Hmm. Who is the provider though? Ah, provider is a user. Hmm. Hmm. I see. I see. I see. I see. I see. So I'm trying to add the user ID, or it's not recognizing that the user is actually the provider. And this is why, if I actually, this is, I can actually fix this by saying user here, user. But then this becomes somewhat irrelevant. And in that case, um, the user either has or does not have any availabilities based on whether or not he is a provider or not. So the way to go around this would be to say that this is a user and this is again a user. Instead of saying provider ID, would be saying uh, user ID. But I'm not. This is not. No, it's not supposed to be a provider. So if I get rid of this, it should be user. Yeah, I already have a user there. So user ID and already exists. Oh, already exists. So this would probably fix it. Not gonna fix it because session provider, where's provider? I have a provider here. Just need to get rid of this. And that should work. Yeah. Now if I go here, availability, user ID. Now let's see if this works. Add, find menu. Ah, this is a problem with find menu. Oh, you know what? Let me quickly do this again. I think it did run npx Prisma generate. Okay. Prisma error find menu, not find menu. I would like to do. Let me turn this off and on again, just to double check. Refresh. Okay. I'm trying to do get all. It's not working. Provider ID. Yes. Where user ID. I'm not getting any this time, which makes sense. And now if I try to do add availability, next. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah, no, this is not supposed to, does not really make sense, but argument user is missing, Jesus Christ. User, okay, what's wrong with user again? Is this even supposed to be a thing? Mm. Mutation. We'll basically get the ID. If there's no ID or unauthorized, user ID would be ID. But what else? What else is there? User ID is ID. User ID is ID. Look, something's horribly wrong going on. The regular user has a bunch of availabilities. Okay, I think this is fine. Again, this is fine. If I go again to doing this, add on, user is missing. Argument user is missing. We have that. We have that. We have that. User create without availability input. I think, did that work? No, it did not work. Well, we can do this, and we go here. There's ChatGPT. When all fails, you go to ChatGPT. So this is the code. Let's just get all of this. Mhm. Hmm. Interesting. Make sure you communicate sections. So I need to add that. Is that up there? Didn't know that. Because I usually work with absurd. Yeah, I guess sure. Does that fix it actually, or will it just complain? Session user ID. Connects an existing user. Yeah, that should technically work. User ID. So what's going on here? Yeah, so I should add user ID here. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so because this is the input details. Oh, we don't have course as well. That's something to get rid of. The expected property comes for this which is declared here is not assignable to without availability. I should get rid of this. Interesting. You see that fixes it? Oh, well, that did not complain at all. Well, doesn't seem to have worked either way, so. Result, result, empty array. So why did that not work? Let's do that again. Done, 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 done. So add one. Perfect. Now I have an error that actually makes sense. Invalid value for argument started, premature end of input expected. Okay, so that's the perfect ChatGPT error. Because I'm bad at managing times. Yeah. Cool, 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 cool. Thanks. Okay, Jesus Christ. Make sure you adjust the value based on including the correct seconds and time offset. Okay, change it. Yeah, wow, thanks. Convert convert this to uh, to the desired date format. I'm not a fan of this, but if that works, that works. That works. That works. We don't complain. So desired datetime string would be ctx, not ctx input from from and from string, from string, from dates, from dates, from dates, from dates, from dates. So this will be the desired format. And what I'll do is I'll just quickly just take this entire thing and use it here. Perfect. And do the same thing for the two dates. So, and then do the same thing again. So this time we do it B two dates. I hate doing this kind of. Yeah, I really don't want this to work. Done. Yeah, that was bro. That was the wrong. Hmm, that was the wrong setup. Was it? Is it? Is it? Is it? Toc, toc, toc. Let me do that again. Yeah, we know. You know what? Perfect. You can use that instead. Do you have a utils function? Do you have a utils folder? We do have a utils folder, and we'll call it dates. Amazing name. Export. I'm gonna go here and do boop and boop and do convert doc from dates. Not even from date. I'll just do input dot from convert input dot to. Hopefully that fixes it. And invalid time value. Hmm? I said I didn't really like to dealing with the time string, sure. Is that even a 10? Date. Split. String. string. It's obviously not gonna. Invalidate. Invalidate. Okay, what if I actually do the new thing? Yeah, so we do from date and to dates. Is that a fucking or it's return value? It's not iterable. So given this, it should give me. But what is the again? What is the format of? Uh, so the format is this, and you're sure that we cannot actually just use that? I think this would just work fine. Due dates. Yeah, I think it works. Yeah, I think it worked. Result, response, basic. Yeah, that worked. Yeah, okay. Well, that was pointless. Whoop. So notice that once we add something here, typically you'd expect a return to take place as well now. But one way for us to ensure that this happens is by doing something like, is it invalidates? Query invalidates. Invalidate React query. Yes. So what we'll do is we'll do const do API.availability get all dot I dot, is it use queries or use context? Is to use context? Yeah, invalidates. Availability. Does that actually work? Use context. Let me double check something. I think I should use API. Not, yeah, I should use API. So API does use context. And I can probably just say context itself. And what I'll do is, so add one, no, mutate, sorry, add availability. So add availability, and assuming that this is working fine, would be doing something like, so before that we just wrap this around, do this, and once that actually succeeds, what we want to do is say, first of all, query no, invalidates, no, it's context dot availability dot get all availabilities dot invalidate. So what this means is that the request that I previously made to get the data for the availabilities would be invalidated, which means it's no longer relevant. It's no longer updated to the latest data because actually I just added something else. Now, when you do that, React Query is smart enough to actually refetch that kind of data. So by adding a new availability, React Query would automatically try to refetch that data for you, and you would have the new data displayed. And then we do set open false because that would then close the that would then actually close the availabilities. So add availability, toc, toc, add. And then I should be getting the new data. Add one, get all. Hmm. That took a while, I'm not sure why. What if instead of this we can do something like refetch? Which I think would make sense given the fact that both of these are in the same. I think data invalidation makes sense if the result is cached. That would make sense. I think that would make sense. Yeah. Let me get rid of this useless use effect and this useless state. Let's do refetch instead. Let's do refetch. Yes. So refresh this. Add availability. Done. 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 Add. Hmm. Interesting. I think let me think about this. Yeah, I should do answer. Yeah. Let me add. Uh, so I'm adding availability, right? But you know what? I'm not gonna do this stuff here. I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna do it in here. Because this actually gives me access to on success. This is exactly what I want, yes. And on failure. On error, sorry, I think. Yeah, it's on error. I think I should do, yes. On error, console.log error. And this is where I wanted to do the context dot availability dot get all dot invalidate. Is it invalidate query or invalidate? Yeah, it's invalidate. Now I'm actually gonna be forced. So this means that this will not actually close immediately because I'm gonna be waiting for this to be done. So add, wait a second, and then it's gonna close down. Now, one way to make this look a bit, you know, look slightly better is by trying to add some loading indicator. So loading indicator, components, tailwind, spinner. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we can take this. Let me add it to another component. Let's call it loading indicator .tsx. Okay, and this would contain something like this. Class name, because this is React, not HTML. This is loading availabilities. Okay, and I'm gonna add a mutation for is loading, and I would give it an alias of is adding availability. And what I'll do here is add availability. I'll add a loading indicator here. So I'll be like is adding availability and loading indicator. Let's see if that makes it. I mean, I don't think it's gonna work, obviously, but so it's not letting me add the data thanks to React Hook form. Okay, so I mean it did refresh, but in the wrong spot. I wanted it to show up in the button itself. So button add, and I would do it here. And let's see if that actually works. Huh? Ah, okay. I'm going to do this. Well, that kind of is what I wanted, so let me do something real quick. Let me do width, and let me do this, and height, right, and I'll do this, and boom, boom, and this, like so, like so, right. Why is this 7.8? Whatever that is. Yes, my bad. So if I set a width and a height, it's going to be what I actually set. Otherwise, if I don't specify the width and the height, it's going to be by default 8. So by default here, it's going to be 8. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. What was the default? Yeah, it was 8. That's interesting. Why did it? So let's do width 4 and height. Let's do 4 as well. Now if I do this. Uh, what? You know what? I liked it better when it was working. Oh, yeah, it's just put it where it was. And what I'll do is I want to disable the button so that the person cannot click twice as it is being submitted. So disabled. So if we are adding an availability, the button should be disabled. So if you're adding availability, ideally you shouldn't be able to click. Now let's try to make this look, more or less better. Let's do let's use ChatGPT for that. That should be fun. Design a card based displayed based on the data sample here. Sample card design. And I'm gonna give it this card design that we did last time. It is using title and stat, but you may adapt to the right props as needed. Okay. And there we go. So I have our data here. There's one thing that I didn't like in it, and it's that it didn't really give me a grid format, but that's fine. So where is the JSON? Yeah. So here we'd be using something like this. Here to be availabilities, right? And what I'll do is I'll probably just use this directly, and that should probably get us working fine. Item get ID, start date, and item dot end date. Is that key? I should add a key. Should add a key. Should we add a key though? Yeah, we should. It's possibly undefined. That is a very fair assessment. And what we'll do is availabilities. If there are no availabilities, we'll do loading indicator. If you have a collection, use an array instead from object.dates. Just do this for now. Okay. Well, this is horrible, but at least it works. So obviously we don't really care about this. And actually, one thing that I can do is in the request, not only I can get all the availabilities, but I can, well, it's pointless, but at least I just want to show maybe the functionality of how it actually works. So availability, where is it? It's in the backend, yes, this. So what the fact that we're doing here, what is this? Should be user ID, where, and I want to include the user info. So not only I'm gonna be getting the from, to, and the ID, I'm also gonna be getting the entire set of user information. And this can be exemplified by, let me do this properly. So if I go image here, right? Let's say I take this, right? I'll actually be able to access that data here as well. So if I do item dot, now this time I have access to user, and I have all the, so if I do, if I have user dot name, image, obviously it's not gonna work, I just remembered, because I need to use the avatar thingy. So I think it's, I don't know if Copilot is gonna help me with that. Wait, I forgot the link. Where's the link? Yeah. So if I do this, And instead of John Doe, I want to use item dot user dot name. Did you mean user ID? Available options are listed in green. User ID. Sorry. Let me do something real quick. Generate. Refresh. Did you mean user ID? Did I mean the user ID? I don't know what I meant. So the issue was here. Ah, it should be this. But I don't actually think that. I think this is wrong. Because exactly, user ID does not actually exist. Did you mean to write user ID? So there's just a miscommunication between, I think, TypeScript and is it TypeScript? Prisma, because availability, right? So availability, I have user ID here, and the user itself, and it references the right user ID. That's correct. Now if I do this, still hangs somehow. Now if I do this, yeah, now it works. Anyway, it looks bad, but you know, you can probably use the moment.js that I've been talking about last time, and we can probably play with it very quickly. So we'll go here and do moment item dot update. I don't think that's how it works, but we can just item dot end date. It's oh oh moment dot format. Yes. Can I just do whatever? Yeah, format. I can do this. Should I leave it like so, or is that how it works? Is that how it works? That would be weird. Okay, makes sense. Ah, yeah. I'm stupid. Because I thought the formatting actually specifies. No, exactly, it doesn't. Uh, I'm kind of dumb. So relative and what does this take? Does this take any arguments? Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah. So let's do day from now. Add calendar. Let's do format LL. Yeah, but also on the time. Oops. Hmm. You know what? I actually don't mind the look of that. No, I do. What? What happened? I actually don't mind that. We'll get rid of this. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do item dot user dot email. Okay, we'll just add it there and do that, do that, and do from to. So at least this should give you an idea of the availabilities. Now, there's one thing that we can do here that would make it look, I guess, decent is if I am a service provider, I would only be getting the information that pertains to that service provider. So I am Ziad, I am logged in, I'm not an admin, I'm a service provider. So if I do availabilities, I should just be able to get my availabilities, for instance. However, if you're an admin, ideally you'd be able to receive every other person's availability. So that's something that we can play with. Okay. So I'm gonna keep the same. So there's two ways. Actually, we can, yeah, there's one way to be fair. There's one proper way of doing it. So we have get all availabilities, right? And we can see that, um, yeah, find many where the user ID is equal to, right? But what we can do is check if the user dot role is not an admin. No, we'll do is admin, right? If they are an admin, do we have regular user? Yeah, we have a regular user, yes. So that means I think we can do protected admin procedure. No, 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 let's keep it protected procedure. So if they are an admin, what we'll do is we'll do the same thing here, but this time there's going to be no work loss. So we're going to be getting all the availabilities regardless of whether the person is you or not. Otherwise, it's assumed that you're not an admin, but at the same time, you could also be a regular user. Regular users do not actually put availabilities here, so what we'll do is we can just do if another else if done done. It's not should be provider. It should be provider. Yes. And if you're neither, obviously you're not going to be able to use this. I could probably add another check for here to check that the person is either an admin or a user, not necessarily, or a provider, not necessarily a user. So I have here enforce user is admin, but I'd also like, for instance, to add enforce user is admin or provider, right? It's not, so it's they're neither this or this. forbidden. And then we can add something like this. So we call it protected admin provider procedure. Protected admin provider procedure. And so if they are an admin, I'll get all the availabilities regardless of the person. And if they are only a provider, I'll only get the availabilities based on that provider. Otherwise, if they are just a regular user, they're not going to be able to access this route to begin with. And we can probably exemplify this by, now this works. Now I believe if I go to localhost 555, what's going on? Business Studio. Okay, now if I do this, by the way, we're going to be able to see a bunch of availabilities here, and all of them are linked to my user. Now I'm an admin. Now if I switch my this to, let's do user, I go here, availabilities, you're going to see that this is going to keep circling because it's checking that, it's checking my role, it's figuring out that I'm not actually, I'm just a regular user. User does not necessarily have availability, so I'm not going to display these availabilities to begin with. And in fact, I don't even have to display this in the first place. So I guess that's one way of doing this. Well, I think this is not even, I mean, it's gonna work. That's true, it is gonna work. You're gonna be able to add availabilities. So the mutation should also change. So add one. Yeah. Do we have toasters in Tailwind? Toaster. Toaster. Tailwind, I want to use Tailwind UI. Toast. You have notifications. Hmm. Yeah, I kinda want the details to be taken care of. I don't want to handle the logic. So let's not do that, it's fine. Uh, okay. How long have I been streaming for? Nearly 2 hours. Fair. Okay. So what we did now is so I have a bunch of availabilities here. My availabilities. Let me try to sign out. Let me see if I can. Okay, I think I have one on Safari. Localhost. Sign out. Sign in with Google. Let's see if this works. Okay. Now if I go to availabilities, I'm not gonna see any availability because I'm a regular user. So if I go here and refresh, let me switch myself to a provider. And what's gonna happen is, let me do something real quick. So availabilities, data. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me do something real quick. Availabilities dot length or less than one. Exactly. Availabilities and no availability is found. If I add an availability, add, I don't know what happened to this. Add. So now it's been added. All good. Now what I'll do is I'll go back here to this. I'm gonna make him an admin. And if I leave, sign out, sign in, sign in with Google. You notice that I also have the other accounts availability displayed as well. So that's exactly the functionality that we wanted to achieve here. Obviously, I can add a button that with an X button that basically just deletes an availability. I'm not gonna really do that. What else should we do? Uh, should we add a booking? Should we be able to book? Hmm. Okay. Also, this dashboard. Uh, I mean, we can do something random. So for index, no, not index. So home. Uh, let me show you guys. So index. So don't care about this anymore. What I'll do is let me again get the data for const data equals y dot validity dot get all. Boom. U squared. Yeah. And I'll do this total availabilities. We can do data dot length. Mm, okay. So let me do like so. So data. I don't think this will work. Yeah, because initially that is not because the stat is supposed to be a string. What if we do would that work? A React fragment? No, it's because it's I mean technically it's not a fragment. Yeah, it's not a fragment. It's JSX. Can I get away with saying JSX? JSX element. Child node. Child props. React. Child. Inline the type instead to make their intent clear. Hmm. Component. I'm not sure how they actually refer to that. I forgot. Like child. Yeah, whatever. Would that work? That would not work. Okay. Wait. Expected server to contain a matching div in paragraph. A matching div. So if I do this, that'll probably work. Yeah, that had absolutely nothing to do with the. Yeah, whatever. So we can do that, I guess. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Load in, refetch. We're not using this refetch. Error, load in to the. All good. So I'm gonna get rid of the other data because it's not actually relevant. So at least you can get a sense for the data here, how it actually looks like. We have our availabilities. Maybe the one last thing that I could add is let me use Chrome because for some reason that total availabilities is it gonna show? It's not gonna show because yeah, because I'm not an admin. Ah, because I'm not logged in. Never mind. If I do that, yeah, okay. Not availability. It's not gonna let me. So we already know how that works. Now let's add a booking, maybe. Do you have time for that? Let me just go over the booking logic. I really don't wanna spend too much time on this live because otherwise it's gonna be super boring to watch. I mean, it already is boring to watch, so oops. So, generating some random data, basically, you guys typically have two options. Option one, you can use Mukuru. I think that's how it's spelled. That's how you do it. Apparently, they have this thing where you can generate fields based on JSON files. Maybe you should try that real quick. Um, let's do availabilities and let me console log the data. Not data, sorry. It should be availabilities, yeah. Uh, now if I go here, console log, deploy, result, data. Can I just copy the object? I go to Makaru. Yeah. Let's do replace existing fields. Would that be recognized? Oh, it's taking some time. Okay, so we don't really care about the options. It seems like it's doing something. So if you do SQL and it's do so you can do 1,000, you can do whatever. Let's do preview. Yeah, and assuming you just work on the dates a bit. So you get rid of yeah, I don't want options. You get rid of options. Yeah, I don't want mm. That's not fun. So if you do, oh, obviously you have a lot of things to play with here. Can even, yeah, addresses, cars, car models, etc. It would generate some data. You can play with the data the way you want. Uh, Probably include some weird links because interesting. I wonder if these links actually work. That would be interesting. I don't think so, obviously, but well, yeah, of course not. That would have been interesting if it actually tries to get valid links, but no. So you'd get صراحة I gave it a bit of a complicated Smito, but if you give it something a bit more simple, it can pretty much manage to do something pretty useful. Otherwise, if you want to do it programmatically using Prisma, you can mix Prisma seeds with a JavaScript library called Faker.js. Let me just look at it on its own. So it allows you to create some fake, reasonably fake data in a pretty nice. So you can generate a username, a full name, you can generate an email, you can generate a bunch of things, and I believe it even gives you some leeway with regards to, I think, rules with regards to how the data should look like, etc. And you can even mix that with Prisma. So Prisma allows you to seed your database. So you can do stuff like you can create a seed.tl and create some data here. And all you do at the end of the day is, let's say you go to your package.json. Uh, in the let me double check if the audio is still working. Yeah, it still works. So in the where is it? Scripts, you can add Prisma script here. Am I doing something? Prisma. Ah, la la la, pardon. It should be here. Yeah. So Prisma seed, and then you can basically just run this command. And the seed would basically look for a Prisma slash seed.ts file, and you would create it here, right? And you can put something like this. Oops. Okay, so the copy button does not work, right? So if it obviously this doesn't work because I don't have an actual table called posts. That's why I have this error. But then you can mix that with Faker. So if you look at Prisma seed with Faker, you can see that, oops, this. You can see that I am easily able to mix both with Faker and the Prisma client in the seed file. And you can see here the person is specifying they want 50 users, each of which they have their own first name, last name, and some data here, random data, an internet email that basically makes use of their, I guess, first name and last name. So the first name and last name that was specified here, phone, etc. So that's about it pretty much. So that's an easy way for you to populate your database if you want to play with the data for your implementation. Other than that, I didn't say. So for Mokaru, if you have the script here, you can pretty much just copy it. Go to planet scale, for instance. Uh, Planet scale. Go to dashboard. So if you go to console, connect. So select star from user. So obviously now you can insert, just paste directly paste your all of this. Just to be safe, you can do, for instance, like something like user, so that the creation would not the creation, but the insertion would be valid. But okay. For booking, I think I'm just gonna create the Prisma instance, and gonna call it a table. So ideally, do something like model booking, right? And the booking would contain. So what does it have here? It has an ID. Now we don't care about the start date and end date because that would be covered by the availability. The user ID is necessary. The provider ID is no longer necessary because of the problem that we had earlier. And now if I do this, I'll get rid of provider and I'll get rid of provider ID. User availability. Do I need the availability? Actually, I don't even need the user. Yeah, I need the user because this is so this user is actually the person who has made the booking, right? And they booked an availability, and that availability pertains to the service provider who is referenced here. So that's how it actually would look like. And if you're wondering how I actually saved the file and it automatically made these changes, it's because of, and that's something I should have showed you earlier, Prisma format. I think it's npx Prisma format. No, I think it's Prisma.format. Mm, yeah, it's Prisma format. Yeah, wait. Yeah, npx Prisma format. I think it's something that you can basically save if you go to settings. Yeah, so default formatter. So you do basically editor format on save, that would be true. And when using Prisma, when you format, the default format would be this. So what this does is once you do, Command S or Control S to save your file, kind of essentially runs this, I think, or Prisma.format. I'm not entirely sure how that actually works, but it runs some kind of function there to format your thing based on the rules that are required, based on your input. But okay, so we've covered some notion with regards to having availabilities listed, adding availabilities. Maybe I can quickly add the logic of removing an availability. Yeah, sure, we can do that quickly, and then we can call it a day. Call it a day. What's going on? What happened? Something go wrong. What's going on? Whoa, whoa. شو واقع هنا؟ How about we close and open this once again? And what's going on? the problem. Hmm. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Package.json position to what? So I think it's obviously this, but yeah, you're not supposed to have a trading comma in the okay. So back here again. So we have 13 availabilities. Add availability. Yeah, sorry, I wanted to do this in Chrome. Add availability. Boom, boom, boom. So if you go to dashboard, now it's 14 because it was invalidated. So that means that the request had to be made again. Okay. We said we would be adding so availabilities, and for each card, yeah, this one. So we can do something like X circle X mark icon, right? And the class name would be uh, h2 h width 2 let's do 6, right? Let's do text. Don't think maybe it's all right. Is it text right? No, it's something justify and wait, why is it not giving me because it's not actual text. Makes sense. Yeah. But if I wrap it with a span, oops, shouldn't just done that. Span. Is this broken? Yeah, it is broken. It's broken. My TypeScript is broken. It's either that or I have some bug somewhere. Not sure what that is. Yeah, I think it's my VS Code. Yeah, my VS Code is broken. Let me quickly close it and open it back again. Okay, now it's okay. Text, right. Oops. So I'll do flex and there justify and Okay, this should be here. Or we get rid of this because there's no point in having a parent element. You know what? Can I do absolute? Absolute, right, 0, to relative and a. Perfect. That fixes it. And on there, padding 2. Padding 4. Okay, so maybe margin 4. Margin 2. Sure. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. So, and we'll do cursor, pointer, again. We'll do uh, red 600. Whoa, that's not what I should do. I think it's text color. I don't know if these text red 6. I don't know if the SVGs they are considered. Okay, perfect. Uh-huh. So technically, I can do font medium, font bold. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really decide if that works. Remember. So on click right, what do I want? That's exactly what I want. So I want to delete one availability, which is this one, based on the item ID, which I actually received from this. But the catch here is that I don't actually have a delete one. I'm gonna do it now. So it's gonna be delete one. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I don't actually need. Yeah, sure, we can do that. Where ID number is not referring to string. Who said that this is a? Hmm. Oh, it's not. It's not. It's a string. Yeah. That. So that would delete. Yeah, we don't care about that. Mutate. Hmm. Mutate. I'll do something quickly, and it's yeah, basically do the same thing here. So const mutate and remove availability. It's gonna be like so. On success, it validates. And then we'll go here again and to remove availability and pass the item ID here. I think that's all I need to do. Okay. So what's the problem here? 64. Over? Oh, this is in routers. Uh, is the problem again? So, this is good. Yeah, I should close this. So if I get rid of this, yeah, but it kind of looks bad to be honest. Just probably get like, are you sure you want to and stuff like that? But it kind of works as intended, more or less. Hmm. Well, at least the logic is intact. So delete one. It deletes the availability based on the ID. I think I'm gonna end it here. So if you have any questions, ChatGPT and Google, and that's it. One thing maybe for you guys to explore is linking React hook form with Zod. The reason why this kind of makes sense to do, and it is because we're using Zod in the backend, so it kind of makes sense to do it in the front end as well because in the case where I had to specify these objects right here, now if you're expecting that object from the form to be used, you can just use the interface call because you would assume that uh, before doing this register stuff, it would be cross-checking with a Zod instance that you would be specifying somewhere here. And that instance basically fact checks the input data that you have, so the from, the to, etc. And you can even specify those, you can probably even check those rules that, the to date should be greater than the from date, etc. And that interface could be just plugged into here directly, since it's a Zog interface as well. And that would work smoothly, to be fair. That's probably all I have to cover for now. Obviously, I'll push the code for you guys to take a look, but that's about it. Hello, guys.